Our goal is to share information to help you to age well if you're an older person, or if you're caring for someone who's older. It's information that you can use to help that older person to continue to age well. Today's topic is difficult. It's about elder abuse. World Elder Abuse Awareness Day was June 15, 2020, and it prompted me to think a little bit more about elder abuse. It can be tough to recognize, even as somebody who works with older adults all the time. So this video will define what elder abuse is and the different types of it. What are the risk factors for elder abuse? How you might be able to detect it, and what to do about it. Elder abuse was actually defined by the World Health Organization in 2011. It's a single or repeated act or lack of appropriate action occurring with any relationship where there's an expectation of trust which causes harm or distress to an older person. So that sounds pretty straightforward, but it can be complicated and kind of nuanced, especially because a lot of times the person who is the abuser is a family member or a loved one of the person, the older person. So it can be complex. Elder abuse can be in many forms. It can be physical, emotional or psychological, financial, and it can also include neglect. So that would be not supplying some care that a person might need, or some supplies that they might need, like medical supplies, or medicine, or even food, water, shelter, supervision, things like that. Elder abuse can take place in a person's home, and it could also take place in the older person's home or the family member's home, or in an institution like a long-term care home or a nursing home. We're hearing some information about neglect and abuse that might have been going on in long-term care, especially during COVID. It's extremely frightening and disturbing. A 2015 study of the prevalence of elder abuse found that about 10% of people over the age of 65 in North and South America were victims of elder abuse. That number went up to about 47% if somebody was living with dementia. There are risk factors for elder abuse. So if a person's over 80, if they have cognitive impairment, if they have more disability, that can increase the risk that a person will have elder abuse inflicted on them. Other things that can put a person at risk include things like a socioeconomic factor. So if somebody has less financial resources, that can really put a person at higher risk of financial abuse for sure, especially if the abuser is dependent on the older adult for money or shelter. There are factors about the family that can increase the risk of abuse. So if there are sort of family stressors going on, like somebody being very ill, or sometimes we see families where both of the elders in a marriage are have a lot of disability, and maybe both of them are living with dementia. So that can increase the risk of abuse. And so can factors about the care partner. So if an older adult is relying on somebody who maybe has a history of mental illness themselves, now that's not to say that people with mental illness can't be good caregivers and are more likely to be abusive, but it's a risk factor because someone who isn't well themselves might not be able to meet a person's care needs, and they might be more likely to end up being in a situation where there's some abuse, or exploitation, or neglect. Substance abuse is another thing that can increase the risk of abuse. So that can be substance abuse on the part of the older adult or on the part of the care partner. And that might be a sign. Sometimes when we see substance abuse, where doctors or nurses, geriatricians included, if you see someone who is abusing a certain substance, it's probably good to think about, is there any kind of an abuse situation that is promoting the older person to drink or to use a substance as a way of escaping? It can be hard to detect the physical signs of elder abuse. And that can be because older adults can sometimes have those signs for other reasons. And we don't want to jump to conclusions. It can be.
How you guys doing? It's actually hot. You guys like the heat because well, we are cruising on through chapter 14. That's right. We already did military, social workers, employee assistants. How are you guys doing with your Thanksgiving Day planning? Going. Yeah, I think everybody is. Anything that is a special part of the meal you'll want to eat in a week?
Is that a meal?
Yeah, like home cooking that's good.
Oh, I think my favorite is roast.
Mm-hmm. Will they make it for Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I really don't. My mom, she make chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, but roast is the one. How long does it take to make one of those?
Huh?
You just like soak it in the hot pot or whatever it's called, or like cook it slow,
Yeah.
and then my wife likes that. I'm a weird vegetarian, but anything you're looking forward to eating? Oh yeah, like a certain kind, or it's like homemade, like cheddar or aged Kraft, or how do people put their special touch on it? Just however she makes it, I guess you're saying.
Yeah, she used Velveeta and like stuff like that. But she don't eat it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It'd be good and like I don't think it's really like.
Right. Okay, so speaking of grandparents, did you mention grandparents too? I guess you didn't. Will you see your grandparents?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're getting towards the end of the book, so it's also kind of by age as they do that. There's this one about elder abuse. I don't know if you guys have ever seen commercials on elder abuse or heard about it. What have you guys even heard about it before? Maybe that's what I should ask. Okay, right. So you could see it there. Also domestic violence. So I'm jumping from, they call it IPV now and elder abuse. So the first video I had was the elder abuse. You can tell it's a commercial, like it's an infomercial, but it's like stuff that you would have to be on the lookout for. And they kind of show how you can be on the lookout for these different things. Some of them are obvious and some of them are like, yeah, I don't know if that would happen.
Well, you can't. She's just not up to seeing visitors today or tomorrow. Well, it's just not possible. She's not seeing anybody, and she doesn't want to see anybody. No, not even you. You'll just have to wait until she feels better.
Ed, come here. I want that. Ed.
Now she's up again and calling me. I have to hang up. I'll call you soon when she feels better. Listen, Mom, you're just not in a position to have visitors right now. Maybe once you sign the documents, you'll feel better.
But I'm feeling fine.
Mom, we both know you'll feel better once you sign the house over to me. I just don't want you feeling overwhelmed with the burden of the house on your mind. All right. You might as well just go to your room then. We have nothing else to talk about until you've signed. And you're not seeing any visitors until this is sorted out.
Oh, I hate these things.
Here, let me do it. What's the PIN number?
1917, your birth year.
Hi, Gloria.
Oh, hi, dear. How are you doing?
It's not working. We'll try again tomorrow.
But mommy, then money in your pocket.
Come on, I don't want to hear about money we don't have. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
Mary, I'm hungry. Are you on your way out to the store again?
Hey, guys.
Oh, Phil, you're back. How was school today?
Oh, there's no school today, Gramps. Just practice.
Okay, I am on my way out. Dad, you stay comfortable. I'll grab some food and bring it back later.
But Mary, I'm hungry now.
I'll be fine for a little bit, Dad. I'll hurry, okay? Can you get your grandpa a glass of water and take it back to his room? There, Dad, make sure you take your pill today too, okay?
I thought I already did.
Nope, and you missed yesterday too, so just take a couple of extra.
What'd you say?
Nothing, Dad. Make sure you have a lie down. Okay, I'll see you guys when I get back.
All right, come on, Gramps. Let's go. All right. Almost there, Gramps. Almost there. All right, and oh, yeah, there you go. There you go, Gramps. Let's go.
Wait, you're not gonna just leave him like that, are you?
He'll be fine.
I don't know, man. That just doesn't seem right.
He'll be fine. My mom gave me something that's gonna help him sleep for a while. Come on, we're gonna be late for practice.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta go home first and get my cleats. So I'll just meet you there, okay?
Okay, yeah. I'll see you there. Okay.
If you or someone you know is experiencing elder abuse, please call the Family Violence Information Line. Elder abuse. Learn the signs, break the silence.
So there's quite a few videos on elder abuse, and with the opioid epidemic that we've talked about before, some people are kind of digging in a little bit more. Sometimes grandparents are the ones that have money or like savings. I don't know if that would be the same in neighborhoods where you guys come from. Like grandparents are retired, so they have like a social security check coming sometimes. Maybe they own a house, like that dude was trying to get his mom to sign over the house to him. Maybe they do get a check, so it goes into a bank account, and you saw the lady at the ATM kind of be like, "Oh, it's broken. Sorry, we'll come back tomorrow." And I think you're allowed to get $200 a week out of an, or maybe it's a day out of an ATM. So maybe that's what she's doing. Sometimes people, like keep them in the house, and maybe live off the check. So maybe that's what the mom at the end was doing. Like you keep them alive, but you don't really take care of them. You like give them pills to go to sleep and tell them to shut the hell up, and live in their house and maybe spend their money. So there's different things that go on. As social workers, we're mandatory reporters. So if we see that we have to call, they show in all those situations, those people have the choice because they're not mandatory reporters like we are. So I don't know. Have you guys ever seen anything like violence against elder or heard of it before?
Yeah,
Really? Any examples you'd be willing to share?
they used to be mean to them, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And that's weird, like, if you want to do that, you could send them to a home.
Right. Yeah. But see this, and it may be money related. So if they send them to the home, they won't get that check and they won't get to keep the house. That's usually why someone would want to keep them under their control and be like, yeah, they're fine, and like try to avoid showing people.
And I know some nursing homes, like in Toledo, they be charging thousands of dollars. Like my sister, she worked at a nursing home, and she said like her patients is struggling to pay their bills because it's so high.
Right. Yeah. So some of them do then go on like Medicaid or government support. Some nursing homes are so expensive, they'll only let you come in if you like give them your house, which is $100,000, and then they'll take Medicaid for however many months you live. So, and it isn't like a great living experience. Like they're just keeping them alive. You know what I mean? So, what does your sister do for them?
She like, I know she changed their clothes. She just like they, I don't know the word. DNA. Yeah.
Right. And you can get paid good, and it's hard too. Sometimes maybe you're working at a nursing home and they're mean to you. You know what I mean? So it's like
sometimes they don't want to take their pills, they don't want to eat.
And they'll fight you, and then it's like, if you're not trained properly, you want to fight back. Like, oh yeah, you're going to take that pill. You know what I mean? But like training kind of shows how we show empathy and not have the.
And she said like you can't get too close to them. Like if they pass away. She had a lot of clients that died.
With COVID? Like during COVID, did that a lot of them pass away? Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, as your immune system's weak, and if you get pneumonia, you can't breathe, you're not going to make it. So that's some of the work that I do, sitting with folks at a hospice that are passing around, passing away. And I know I went out of order, but now this one is more intimate partner violence, which I know also is something that is a little bit harder to recognize, but some of them are challenging. So I'm hoping maybe we'll go with teen dating violence, because that would be more in relation to you guys, or even adolescent relationships. Do you see one of these on here that you'd be interested in? This one or this one? I bet this would be more your age. Are you both still teenagers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Relationship Dynamics and their Contribution to Adolescent Relationships.
I thought it was actually going to be an actual video, so let's see if this one is. I don't know if it is or not. Might just be a training.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Looks
and
like
welcome
it. All right, that's okay. There's another good one. But yeah, like, have you guys seen, even here on college campus, have you seen any stuff that's questionable? You're like, you shouldn't have somebody you're dating treat you that way. Because it comes up, you know, like sometimes it's based off of the way that we were brought up and what we saw growing up. But let's see if this one's more of an informative one instead of a training. They've kind of changed it from domestic violence to intimate partner violence. What kind of trainings do they do for you guys here? No, they are all trainings. That's interesting. Here is a short one that's.
Wow, glad you're here. I just found out that one of my best friends was in an abusive relationship for so long. and none of us knew anything about it. I'm heartbroken. I thought we told each other everything. Maybe if I had spoken up, she would have talked to me about it sooner. So, here goes. Intimate partner violence, sometimes called teen dating violence or domestic violence, is a pattern of behaviors used by one partner to maintain power and control over another partner in an intimate relationship. An intimate partner is a person's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, partner, or lover. Intimate partner violence may include different kinds of abuse. Physical abuse may include hitting, kicking, punching, or other kinds of physical violence. Emotional abuse may not include physical violence, but it can be equally as harmful. When someone is abused emotionally, they may be called names, humiliated, yelled at, or made to feel intimidated. The abuser may try to control the other person by telling them what to do, what to wear, or where they can and cannot go. Financial abuse is when a person tries to control and limit their partner's access to money so that the partner will be dependent on them. One example would be if the person discouraged or disallowed the partner to work and make their own money. Another is if the person takes the partner's money or credit cards and refuses to give them back. Another form of abuse is known as stalking and harassment. Stalking or harassing someone may include spying on them or following them around and constantly showing up where they are or refusing to leave when asked. Stalking also can include sending harassing or unwanted emails, texts, or posts. Finally, there is partner abuse that involves sexual abuse. This type of violence is when a person forces their partner to participate in sexual acts or behaviors without their consent, or ignores the partner's sexual boundaries. Just because a person is in an intimate relationship with someone doesn't mean that they must have sex with them or do sexual things that they find uncomfortable or demeaning. If you or someone you know is being abused in a relationship, it's important to know that it's never the fault of the abused person, and it's important to ask for help. To get help, you can talk to the school counselor, a social worker, or another trusted adult. A great resource if you need information, support, or advice is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You can check out their website at www.thehotline.org or call 1-800-799-7233. Remember, domestic violence is not love. Someone who really loves you wouldn't try to physically harm you, control you, make you feel bad about yourself, or force you to do something that you don't want to do. A loving and healthy relationship is about consent, respect, and honoring who you are as an individual.
Till next time, don't forget to visit me at amaze.org or go to my YouTube channel to watch more. Bye!
So they're doing more ways to reach out, just to inform us, because as you can see, sometimes it's harder to recognize what is the intimate partner violence. We even passed a federal law in the United States, the Violence Against Women Act, because at that time, like 60s and 70s, that's where more of the reported abuses were. There's also, if there's kids involved too, like if you have a family and there's domestic violence, we've seen how some of that trauma can be passed on through to the children. Now, elder abuse, which we just watched that video on, that's something that also can be very easily hidden. And these are topics, if you've seen or witnessed any, you're welcome to put into your final paper, and everything's kept confidential. But the elder abuse, it's not going down, can be either physical, psychological, and or sexual abuse. The financial exploitation is a big one. Like a lot of times they'll just keep the person alive in their home and take their money or funds or social security check and use their money. So abandonment is also another one. Like if they can't very well take care of themselves, you should try to help them get into a home. And then there's also neglect and self-neglect, like as you're not recognizing some of the things that are going on inside of the family members' challenges. We do have some adult daycare programs. That would be me. And one of the earlier slides had shown that there is retirement that some of the social workers go over, and that there is a retirement crisis going on in America. So I don't know if you guys have heard anything about the retirement stuff, or how many of you guys still have grandparents alive? Maybe I should ask that. Are they still working, or are they still, are they? So like living off Social Security, or they? Okay. Do they own a house, or just like live in an apartment, or? Okay. So a lot of times you get Social Security as early as the age of 62. So if your grandparents are like 62, are your parents in their 40s yet, and then you guys are in your 20s, that would be the generations. What about you guys? Do you know, or have you had grandparents go to a nursing home or anything of that nature?
My granny was alive.
Okay.
My other grandma, she was
Okay.
I think the house was hers.
So those are some of the things why elder abuse is targeted, because they still sometimes have resources or jobs or money, and they're not like putting kids through school and college or whatnot. So there's a lot of outreach with some of these elder abuse. And there's even an Elder Abuse Awareness Day. So there's several different things. And with the opioid epidemic, that has caused some of the challenges with elder abuse, because people are trying to find other ways to get money, other ways to get stuff that they would not easily be able to pay for. So that's what's coming up with some of the elder abuse. Any other thoughts on elder abuse that you guys might have, or have you seen it before? Have you seen, I know you mentioned your sister works in a nursing home and she'll see weird stuff. But money wise, or just like shut up grandma, go sit down, or kind of, did they end up getting held accountable for it, or you guys like just? Yeah, it can be. I mean, it can definitely be, especially if you're being abused, you might want to fight back, and then that can be something that comes up. There's lots of different situations, and it got worse during COVID-19. So they've been doing a few articles on that, like, because everybody was kind of locked up, and then you got to deal with the person all day, or there's one other video that I'd seen that was helpful. It might just be that it was getting worse during the COVID, like with money getting tight and people paying for things. It was harder during COVID-19. And we're still kind of in it, right? I know that they said we were done with COVID-19, but now it seems like it's back again, right? Did you guys think it was over too? It just seems like it is. Like there's shortages on the shelves and food, and there's,
Yeah, it seemed like it was like calming down for
right. So that's kind of weird. It's just I think our internet here kind of sucks too. How's your all's internet at the dorms or where you live? Is it any good, or does it slow down too? Does it?
especially on my TV.
Oh yeah, if you're streaming something. I wonder if there's a time everybody's trying to stream something at the same time and the internet just shuts off, like it doesn't work because it's so bad. So yeah, that's chapter 14 as we go by age. This is kind of, elder abuse and domestic violence are some of the things that you can experience later on in life. And as social workers, we want to connect them with services for older adults. So pretty soon, I guess this will be me. I was born in 1978, but by 2030, almost like 1/5 of the population will be 65. 85 plus is the fastest growing subgroup, and that's because people are getting older and living longer. Also, the percentage of ethnic minority elders is increasing. And some of the worldwide trends is because we live longer, we have to have food for people, resources like homes. So they mentioned setting the record straight and successful aging. Some people. So, what age do you guys think most people live to? 90s? 70? And then how about man and a woman? Do you think it's different? Okay. I think it went down the pandemic, but average age of death. How about that? That sounds right. So, looks about right. So, well, this was in 2019, so I wonder how it has changed. It says, what is the average age for a man to die? 76.3. So, that sounds right. Rounded up. You said 80 for a man?
No, 90.
And you think women are live less? It's interesting because they do say, in the first half of 2020, the expectancy was 77.8 years, but declining by 1 from 2019. So because of coronavirus, a lot of people died. So life expectancy at birth was 75.1 in 2020 and also dropped a little. So for the whole US population, let's see if they have, on average, women are 5 years older, reaching 81.4. So you said 80. But believe it or not, you know that women live longer than men? I know, right? You would think that, and some people see that. And there's different reasons for that. What do you guys think is the reason women live longer than men do?
Women, I feel like they take very care of.
That's true. They go like counseling or see a social worker if they have to. Men are less likely to go to counseling. So here's another one. Median age of death is 81 years old, and most common age of death is 85. That doesn't make any sense. What age does a girl look most beautiful? Really? Do they do research on this? What do you guys think? What's that? It looks like that's what they're saying. They're saying the study carried out by Allure magazine found women are considered most beautiful at 30, show signs of aging at 41, stop looking sexy at 53, and are thought of as old at 55. So I guess my sister's about to get pissed because she's 51 years old. I didn't know that Google does this where they like ask all these questions and just go down the line. Odds of living to 90. Age 90 suggests that a 65-year-old male today in average health has a 35% chance of living to 90. My dad's about 77. For a woman, the odds are 46%. If our two 65-year-olds live together, there's a 50% chance both will still be alive 16 years later, and that one will survive 27 years. So did you know you live longer if you're married too? Supposedly it's the companionship, which is interesting. Is my parents like to fight like cats and dogs. I'm like, do you guys really like each other? Or do you look like you argue all the time? So that's an interesting piece. Here's another one. Why is US declining? So attributed to deaths from the pandemic, contributed to nearly 3/4 or 74% of the decline, 11% of the decline in life expectancy can be attributed to increases in deaths from accidents or unintentional injuries. That's funny. This is kind of like what my dad is, 75. So life expectancy of a male and life expectancy of a female. So if they are 77 right now, I feel like that's what my dad is, he might live 10 more years. My mom, who is 75, she might live 12 more years. So that's saying they'll both live to 87. That's a long time. What are the chances of living to 80? So children born today live longer than any other generation. About 2/3 will live past 80 and 1/3 past 90. 1 in 10 girls born now will live past 100. Why do you guys think that is? Like we're getting older and older and older. Better medicine, better diet, better doctors, machines. At what age you start growing and stop dying? I've heard it's 21. There it is. Everyone ages at a similar rate until they reach their late 20s or mid 30s. Unless you've inherited a rare genetic disorder or have been in an accident, at 30, you're probably basically healthy and able. That's funny. They keep going, does dying hurt? I'm sure it does. Depends on how you die, but yeah. The answer is yes. Death can be painful, but it is not always. I wonder who gets to write the answers for all these things. That's interesting too. Like they're asking about virginity and bad for your health. That's kind of weird too. And that doesn't make sense. So anyway, those are kind of your older person statistics. Can you smell death coming? Living bacteria in the body, particularly in the bowels, play a major role in decomposition process or putrefaction. The decay process. Decay produces a potent odor. Even within half an hour, you can smell death in the room, he says. It has a distinct smell. I could say sitting with dying people for the pandemic, I have kind of noticed that. So anyway, that's kind of the elder abuse and then domestic violence. When we come back Thursday, I want to kind of get into some of the services for older adults, but leave you guys open for your final. You can start now if you haven't already started it. You can add any of these things into it. Hopefully you guys are registered. Are you already registered? And if you did you use this? Okay. Well, that's all I've got. We're trying to get you ready for your 10 days off for Thanksgiving. You get 10 days off starting on Friday. Did you know that? Right. Do you have classes on Fridays? Right. Yeah. So, but if you have questions on all the assignments I've opened up, you can turn in or like your final. Send me anything you've got, or